Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where we have found ourselves staring directly into the eyes of another Monday, meaning you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of Wayne Sharp Week, highlighting the knives that are going to be in my pockets for the next 5 or 6 days. Now, I'm sure you guys saw on the thumbnail of this video that I'm going to be showcasing my most carried knife of all time today. And I think I've shown it once before on a video quite a while ago, and it wasn't like a video just for that. I think it was in like some long-term reviews or something, and it was very briefly. So it's been a long time. I've picked up a lot of subs since then, so I want to show this to everyone new and anyone who may have missed it, because it really is one of the best little knives you can ever own. It's not even a fifth pocket knife. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna get to that one right now. It'll be the first knife I show. I was gonna save it to the end, but I'm gonna do that one first. And just a reminder, guys, the first 3 knives in this video, they will be linked below for purchase off of Amazon. I would really appreciate it if you're considering buying any of these knives. Always check my descriptions if it is available for purchase in the link. It really helps the channel out a lot if you buy from those links. So let's get right into it. Here it is, the most carried knife for me of all time, and it'll probably remain that way for quite a while because I don't see this guy going anywhere. That's the Kershaw Cinder. And like I said, I have highlighted it once before, but it needs it again because this is a knife you really don't want to miss out on for a few really good reasons. First of all, this is super cheap. It is $8.49. $8.49 on Amazon. Like I said, this is available. It's not really in stock right now, but you are allowed to purchase it from the link, and it's going to be in stock very soon. So once it's in stock, it'll ship. So $8.49, you get a bottle opener. When it's closed, it's very small. Let's see, what do I have to compare it here to? Here's a pen. So very small compared to a pen. It fits perfectly on your keychains. And I'm telling you guys, this blade, first of all, it has a hollow grind. It has a pretty slicey, stinking little hollow grind. I mean, look at that. Really good functional little knife. Works for anything that you need at that given time. I've cut through full-size cardboard boxes. I've opened letters. I've opened bags. I've done some prying with this. As you can see, the blade is not in good shape. I've got to sharpen this guy. But it is a great little knife. 3CR 13 MOV, I believe, is the steel. So it's a low quality steel, but you don't need much for what you use this for. And I gotta say, guys, I've beaten the hell out of this thing, and it still is. I mean, look at the blade centering on it. I have tightened the pivot once before, but I mean, the blade centering is on point. And it's just a great little knife. It's also a full solid 3-finger grip. Look at that. In my hand, full solid 3 fingers. So you get a really good purchase on this little guy. It's super versatile. I'm not trying to take the whole video on this knife, but it really is great, and it goes so underrated. So be sure, if you don't have a Kershaw Cinder for $8.50, it's worth trying whether you like it or not, but I'm almost gonna guarantee you will like it, and you will use it if you put it on your keyring. That I can promise you. The blade and the bottle opener, as a matter of fact. Very handy. There's also a copper, or I think it's a copper version for 20 bucks that, you know, some people just love copper. I would recommend just going with this one because it's, you know, less than half the price, more than half the price, or less than half the price. It's $8.49, so yeah, it's like 60% less than 20%. Yeah, I'm not going to stop. Yeah, you don't need to know my math skills. But regardless, great little knife. I'm going to link both of them, the copper and the G10 version, below in the video. You got to check one of these things out, guys. They really are that good for what they are. Excellent little EDC. Now, the meat and potatoes of my carry this week, we're going to start off with the Kershaw Dukes. It's been a while since I've had the Dukes in my pocket, and every time I pull this thing out of a pouch, or I use the little Blade HQ pouches to store my knives in. But yeah, it really is such a fantastic action. A lot of it is because of this enormous flipper tab, which is, you know what, it is what it is. It kind of is one of the main character points of this knife. Kind of the Dumbo ears, but you know what? It works. It works really good. If you want to light switch it, you can, but push buttoning this thing, this is probably my favorite knife ever to push button on the flipper. It just rockets out. It's so sweet. It is a fantastic knife, and even the close is getting smoother. It's definitely shake shutty. It's not drop shutty, but this is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. It's pretty easy to sharpen with that N690 steel. Comes down to a nice thin edge. Also has a hollow grind, which I'm always a fan of a good hollow grind. A beautiful blade shape with just a simple drop point. Really nice swedge. Really good ergos. Full 4-finger grip. Decent pocket clip. It's not deep carry, but it actually looks decent on the knife. Kind of wish it wasn't satin, but that's kind of not really here nor there. Regardless, though, it works just fine. If you can get past the flipper tab, I guarantee you're going to like this knife. And keep in mind, like I said before, the flipper tab is what makes this knife great. It gives you that extra, I don't know if it's the leverage or just the push, but it provides the pop. And definitely, I would not change the flipper tab on this knife, I'll put it that way. Absolutely love it the way it is. Fantastic little knife, the Kershaw Dukes. Next up, we got the knife that started the channel, the CJRB Feldspar in green micarta. Every once in a while, I take this guy and carry it for a day or two because it really is. It was the knife that I thought, well, you know what? I want a sweet knife, a cool knife, an affordable knife to start the channel. And I do think I picked the perfect knife at that time. It was the best one available. Really love the micarta on this guy. It provides good grip. It wears really good over time, takes in the oils of your hand really well. Love that green and brass pairing. Really hard to beat that. D2 steel, so it's nothing special, but it's going to give you that edge retention. And ergos that are really good. I wouldn't say they're perfect or the best, but for what you got, it is a well thought out handle design. Drop shutty action for the most part, a little shake, nice strong detent. The blade rockets out. There's really nothing to pick apart too hard on this knife. I mean, it really isn't. I want to say it was like $50-some, might have even been less. I really can't remember. It's been so long now since I actually reviewed this guy. I'm not even sure if the actual micarta version is available, but there's all sorts of versions of this guy available for actually less than what I paid for this one. They're in like the $35 to $40-some range. So excellent knife for the money. Highly recommend checking this one out. It will of course be linked below as well. The CJRB large Feldspar. This is the large. There's also a small Feldspar that is worth checking out, but you guys know me. I like the bigger knives. The 3.25 to 3.5 inch blades, definitely more my jam. Now next up, we got a couple bangers to end the carry for this week. This here is the Sharp By Design EVO from Brian Nadeau, manufactured by Riot, and yep. I really like this knife. It was the first Sharp By Design I ever owned, and it wasn't the last, and it's not going to be the last, put it that way, because I bought another one after this, and I have one on pre-order. So yeah, you can consider me a Brian Nadeau fan. I absolutely love his detent system here. If you look in there, you've seen it before. Most of you have, most likely. There's not a detent ball. There's that little milled slab in there that actually works as the detent. So you get a very unique action from a Brian Nadeau knife. It's once you break it, it's just light and fast and crisp. Very unique action. Really enjoyable. There's this just a flipper knife, so it's not like a fidget beast, but it is just incredibly smooth. The ergos are fantastic in hand. Love this pocket clip. It carries deep enough, and it is zero hot spot, and it's just beautiful. It is an absolutely beautiful pocket clip. There's not much I change about this knife either. I wasn't expecting to, though. Brian Nadeau is one of the more renowned designers, at least in the group of the community I'm with. Not really a separate group, but you tend to, when you get into the community, you start to know a few people. And Brian Nadeau is just I hear and see a lot about him, and I think probably a lot of people do. I think pretty much everyone in the U.S. does. If you're in the U.S., you definitely know who Brian Nadeau is if you're really in the knife community. He's a fantastic designer, And this here is a prime example of what his work looks like, or a good example of it anyway. Really, really good. The Sharp By Design EVO. One more time. So, so good. Now, next up, we got one more bruiser. This is from another one of my favorite designers. That is none other than the AD20 from Andrew Demko of Demko Knives. Just a beast of a knife. Thick, beefy. It can bruise with the best of them. You even got a little choil up there to really choke up and actually do some real detailed work with this blade if you want to. Fantastic steel on this guy. This is CPM 20 CV, made in the United States. And I don't even need to say it, but it has the shark lock, and it is definitely the sweetest lock on the market, and I don't see any lock. In all honesty, guys, I really don't see any lock beating this in quite some time. The most fidget-friendly lock for me, right up there with the Axis lock. It's way ahead of the Axis lock. I should say the Axis lock is just behind it, because it is definitely ahead of the Axis lock for me anyway. When it comes to fidget factor, and just how fun it is and how easy, this is easily the most simple knife out there to open fast that's not assisted, in my opinion. I just love the way it works. It has such a strong lockup. The thumb studs also work great on it, as well as the middle finger flicking action works fantastic. It's a very unique action though, because it doesn't really have a detent ball. Yeah, it does not have a detent ball. It all works on the locking mechanism, on the strength of that, and it's pretty strong. I mean, yes, you can absolutely shake it out, but I don't really let that concern me. If a knife is in your pocket, you would have to be like, I don't know, thrown from a car at 50 miles an hour for this thing to like somehow open in your pocket, and it probably still wouldn't do that. It would probably come out of your pocket. But regardless, no issue there, nothing to worry about. This knife is built like a tank, made to use, and I plan on using it this week. That's the Andrew Demko AD20. Now, let's take a look. Let's recap. Let me know what you guys think, and most importantly, let me know what you're carrying. I always want to know, and I'm looking forward to this week. I think this is going to be a very, very good week. I am optimistic. I hope you all are. I hope you enjoyed this one. These three will be listed below. Pick one up if they suit your fancy. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great, fantastic week. And until the next one, I'm out.